Well, hello everyone. It's my pleasure to welcome Marinma Dorado back for another Pay It Forward networking program. Back in December 2017, I had the pleasure of working with Marinma on her first PiFNP program, which was one of the first that we did remotely. And I remember being a little reluctant about doing something like this remotely, thinking that it would take someone with a special dynamic personality to make it work. Well, my reluctance turned out to be entirely unnecessary because she did a fantastic job then, and I'm sure that she'll be equally fantastic today. Marinma has a master's degree in petroleum engineering from Imperial College in London and spent 18 years in oil and gas, living in Houston and London. During the 6 years she lived in Houston, she was very active in the SPE Gulf Coast section, especially in the facilities engineering study group, which she led for a while. During her corporate career, Marinma noticed that there was a need for a broader implementation of key human mindsets like purpose and passion. She researched the connection between these mindsets and success and noticed how the most successful career people she met had integrated them into their lives. She has spent the last 10 years teaching and coaching these mindsets to technical and business people so that they can be more successful and fulfilled. With her own company called Mindset Results, Marinma provides consultancy, executive coaching, and team coaching to activate positive mindsets that generate business success, personal fulfillment, and well-being. Marinma is here today to help us apply these mindsets to re-energize ourselves in the face of the pandemic. Please unmute your microphones and join me in welcoming Marinma with a big round of applause.
Thank you. That's great. Thank you so much. Okay, well, thank you, Sarek and Carlos and Salim and all the people participating in the Pay Forward networking programs for inviting me and allowing me to live my passion because this is, I get a lot of energy from activating these mindsets and helping people to thrive under any circumstances. So I really appreciate it. I have a good time. I really have a fantastic time when I was streaming last time from Madrid in December 2017. And you were all sitting in a conference room of this Korean church in a very snowy day in Houston, very unusual. And now I'm moved to the Netherlands. So today I'm streaming from the Netherlands. And we have a very different circumstances. And I had to admit that I'm using a presentation that I gave to a global group of petroleum engineers called PiFNP. That's mostly for students 3 weeks ago. So I was going to use a similar material. And then I thought, I can't do that because those, that presentation was from people that most of them were in the Middle East. And the presentation today is for people and that most of you, I think almost everybody except for me, are in the United States. So the situation is very different because right now you are in the peak of the pandemic. And for me being from Spain, and be living in the Netherlands, we were where you are now in April. So I know what you're going through is a very different experience. And so I have adapted my presentation. I call it re-energize yourself with your super mindsets of passion and purpose, because I wanted to remind you that these mindsets are inside of you in any circumstances, and all of you have it, independent of your age, of your gender, of your job situation. You can all activate these mindsets. And I'm going to share my presentation. I'm going to share my slides. Okay, and tell you a little bit about my content to date. Okay, I had to start talking about fear and worry, even when this presentation is about the positive mindsets of passion and purpose. I think that it's important to acknowledge where we are. And because I have experienced this before, and I still experience, well, my parents are old, they're in Spain, I have family, it's getting close to all of us because we are all interconnected. Nobody can say, oh, this is not going to affect me. I know how it feels. And I know what fear and worry does to our system, including mine. And I wanted to tell you some things that come from neuroscience. You probably have heard about the flight, fight, or freeze response. Anybody heard about this? You can, yeah? Right. Those ones that have not activated their camera, it will be lovely if you do. I respect if you don't, but it will be lovely to see your faces, okay? And so what happened with this fear response is something neurological. It basically, no matter what, no matter who you are, we have still these residues of the way our nervous system was working in our ancestors. So when these responses get triggered, we have three of these possibilities. We want to fight. So because we can't fight with a tiger or with a wild animal, then we want to fight with our spouse or with our children or with anybody. Or we want to fly. What will be the identical response for flying? We are not going to run in front of a wild animal because this is not how we live these days. But the way we fly is by evading ourselves. So we are going to spend more time browsing the web, or we are going to watch more Netflix, or we are going to eat more. So this is the response of trying to avoid the situation, trying to fly from this stress in our life. Or we freeze. What happens when we freeze is that we cannot activate ourselves to prepare our CV if we have been let go of posting something on LinkedIn. Our body is like dead. We want to pretend that we're dead. That's what our ancestors will do when a wild animal was chasing them. And now this is what we do. We get paralyzed. It depresses our immune system. And this is a circumstance in which we need our immune system even more to defend from viruses and bacteria, right? And our mind start imagining scenarios of what may happen to us. If we had not been let go, we might be let go. If we had not, something has happened to us in terms of health, our mind is already imagining the worst. Why? Because our mind is genetically predisposed to scan the horizon for danger. So this is what it does. And this stress response, it was designed for a short period of time. It was designed so we can escape a predator. But these days, we can become chronically stressed if we get into worry. So now I hope I'm not depressing you too much. I promise I'm going to get you out of this state into a more positive state. So one of the things that get us into that worry state is the constant 24 hours news cycle. And as I said, I've been there before. And then we have an agreement with my friends from Spain with whom I was communicating. We agreed to watch news 10 minutes a day. That would be like impossible for many people. It's like, no, I need to be informed. But you realize that this news repeat over and over and over again. So my advice, with 10 minutes a day, you have enough. Why? Because we may think that by watching more news, we are somehow being part of the solution. But in fact, we are not taking positive action. when we are watching news, we are not taking positive action. We are getting into the worry mind, and most likely we are either paralyzed for action, or we are trying to evade ourselves with food. And it has been totally documented that during the corona crisis, people eat a lot. So this is another situation. And we can become addicted, because the stress hormones are very, very addictive. They're chemically addictive for our body. What's the solution for this? Because we want to be active, don't you? Anybody wants to be active? Right. You want to be in your most creative self? Yes? Anybody? You want to be posting amazing things on LinkedIn? Perhaps learning a new skill during this situation? Right? Anybody?
Right.
Yes? You can say yes. You can
Yes.
say yes. I don't mind if you say yes. You want to be energized, and maybe you do some exercise at home? Now you don't have to commute. For some people, that is 2 extra hours a day. So don't tell me you don't have time to exercise. You have 2 more hours. So maybe you can learn a new language. Maybe you can, produce all these wonderful CVs and motivation letters. Maybe you can be thinking about your career transition. Become a thought leader on LinkedIn. All those things you can only do when you are out of the stress response and you're utilizing the executive center of the brain, the CEO part of the brain, your neocortex, right? And in order to move from the stress response that is in the amygdala to the neocortex, you need to activate your well-being hormones. And you can activate them consciously with the mindsets of passion and purpose. Is this making sense for everybody so far? Yes? You can say yes.
Yes, yes.
Yes, good.
Yes.
I like to have feedback. All
Sure.
right. So some people, when I have, in my coaching practice, sometimes I have individual sessions, and then people sometimes say to me, but I don't know what my passions are. I'm not sure. I say, all right, your body is not going to lie to you, because your body is actually going to give you what in psychotherapy is called a felt sense. That is a very physical reaction to what is aligned with you. I mean, the author Ken Robinson, you may have seen his very famous TED Talk, call it when you are in your element. When you are in your element, when you are in the element that gives you energy, that gives you passion, your body is going to feel like lighter, more bubbly. It's going to give you energy back. Instead of draining you, those are activities that actually give you energy. And there is a story that I read from a Japanese businessman. I read it in different places, that when he had to make a decision to know whether that decision aligned with his passion, aligned with his soul, he will go for dinner and have his dinner and think, okay, I'm going to decide between A and B. I'm going to decide for A. And then have his dinner and go to sleep. And if he had an indigestion, that was a sign that that was not the right decision. And if he didn't have an indigestion, it was the right decision. And I remember reading that many years ago, I don't know where, and I didn't pay a lot of attention, and I didn't make the connection. And something happened to me. I'm not going to say the year, because then you can see my LinkedIn profile, the company for that year. But in a particular situation, I was interviewing for a job, and actually that interview was on the phone. And that day I was in the south of Spain on vacation, but I accepted to have the interview anyway. And I went downstairs to have breakfast with my husband. And then I said, okay, why don't you wait you know, around or go for a walk or something, and I'm going to go to the room and have the interview. So we agree on that. And I was very calm, but inside of me, I really didn't want to take that job. But I was kind of lying to myself a little bit. No, a little bit, no, a lot. So I went upstairs and I had the phone interview, and the phone interview went well. It was standard, and pretty much I accepted to go to the next step. That was going to be to fly to London to meet with my future boss. And after that interview, I got sick like never before. I have an incredible indigestion from the breakfast that I have earlier. And I was sick for like 5 hours. So what energizes you? Your body is going to give you a clue. And then I actually went ahead and took that job, and it didn't work out well. So your body knows a lot. It knows a lot about what goes with you. You have to listen to it. And your passion, that mindset of passion is not in that part of you that rationalizes everything. You know, like we have this little voice inside of us that is making a comment about everything. So you see a tree, you are just actually having an experience of seeing the tree. But then like a second after seeing the tree, your mind activates and goes, yes, that's a tree. Yeah, that's a tree, and it's tall and it's green and blah, 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 blah. So we have this part of ourselves that is always talking. And when you're trying to make a decision, that part of you goes, yeah, but well, this is not going right. You know, you're going to write this LinkedIn and people are going to criticize you. And if I send this CV, most likely I'm not going to get a job because there are so many other competitors. And so your mind never stops. What I'm saying is that your logical mind is disconnected from your felt sense. And your passion lives beyond your mind. Your passion actually lives in your heart. And we all have that experience of being really enthusiastic. Before, when Carlos was talking, he said that I love well completion. And you could see in his body language that he really means it. He really means it. And that is an area in which he drives a lot of energy from. So what do you think, that he's going to be more productive from in an area in which he loves and he's passionate about, or less productive compared with another area in which, you know, he has no passion? So I mean, we all know intuitively that when we are more passionate, we are more productive. And this is what we want. We want to be able to take action. I mean, don't go crazy. All right, we live in a pandemic, so we also have to take it easy. You are going to be calling family more often. You are going to be, you know, trying to find some space to relax. But at the same time, you're looking for a job, or you may be doing a career transition. So you need to find something that gives you that extra burst of energy. And the Heart Math Institute has found that actually our heart has neural cells. So there is like a second brain inside our actual physical heart. So that thing that we say, oh, thinking with the heart, yeah, it's true. Our heart also thinks. And we had to listen to it because it's got a lot of wisdom for us and for what gives us energy and what gives us meaning. Another thing that I say to people when they're trying to find their passion is that your passion is in your blueprint. So you were born with certain archetypes. And sometimes it takes looking back at your childhood. And what you have there is a picture of me at 5. I told the director of the nursery school, I am going to present this recital for the parents. And I'm there with a microphone. And here I am, all these more than 40 years later, presenting to you. So is there a connection there? Of course, because I like to be on a stage, and this is a stage for me. It's in my blueprint. And I also love to write, and I love to coach people. And I was coaching people at 14 when I didn't know that there was something called coaching. I used to tell my friends, do you have any problem? Tell me, I help you. So what I'm saying is that all of you have things in your blueprint that are coming from the time that you were a child or you were young, that give you energy. And those things are really important that now maybe during the pandemic that you're going to have some more quiet time. And as I said, you're going to have less commuting. It's important that you go back and then you rescue those things that were always important to you. And for some of you, it will be an opportunity even to create a new career using those things that have always been important to you, but you let them go because maybe you thought that you couldn't create a career using those things. Let me have a show of hands. Have you ever kind of gave up the dream of using some of your talents or preferences because you thought there was not a market for it? Yeah, so I think that that happens, and this could be an opportunity to go back and rescue something. Maybe you like to write, maybe you're really good at copywriting, maybe you have a passion for the environment, you have other things that you kind of left behind. So let's go back and rescue them. So I wanted to talk a little bit about what passionate people have in common, because I think that you are all passionate, because you are definitely passionate because you're participating in this event and you want to learn more, you want to learn more skills. And you also recognize passionate people around you. And sometimes when you recognize those people, it's because you have it inside of you. So a mentor of mine told me some time ago that when you admire something on somebody, it's because you have it. You have it inside of you. So think about those passionate people that are around you. They seem to be always positive. They are energized. They are more productive. Some of the people that I admire are the writers of personal development books. And some of them have published, they are the same age than me, or maybe 5 years older, and they have 18 books published, 20 books published. And it's like, where do they get the time to do that? And the reason that they are so productive is because they are incredibly, incredibly passionate for what they do. And you are too. So this is something that you have to rescue about yourself. Now I wanted to talk to you about what is a mindset. We hear a lot about the word mindset, and I'm going to give you another kind of look at the word mindset. For me, a mindset, and because you are very technical, I'm going to compare the mindset as an operating system. The operating system of your computer, for example, is something that is operating in the background. You are not going to touch it for the moment until you do an upgrade. Yeah, imagine that you were in Windows NT at some point many years ago, and then you recently are upgrading to Windows 10. Yeah, so I'm going to propose something to you. Can you see yourself upgrading your operating system? This is what a mindset is. A mindset, once you upgrade to this higher mindset, yeah, it's going to be great, because then it's operating all the time in the background. And it's going to work for you. Yeah. So I would like you to make passion a default mindset in your life. And in order to do that, you have to repeat and repeat and repeat certain habits until they create these neural pathways. And then it's almost automatic. It's like, for example, when you have a light switch at home and you change the position of the light switch. So you come back the next day, no, it's not here, it's there. The next day, it's not here, it's there. The next day, it's not here, it's there. And after 4 or 5 days, finally, you have created those neural pathways, the new neural pathways, because the brain has neuroplasticity. So you can retrain your body, your brain. So I would like you to retrain your brain to have passion as a default mindset. Make sense? Yes? Okay.
Yes.
So now, good. So what are my passions? Well, last time with when I was given a workshop in December 2017 with the Pay Forward networking program, I did a complete process to help people find their passions, but we had 3 hours. But today I'm just going to give you the express version. And the express version is that you ask yourself, when you have time, after this networking, another day, grab a piece of paper and get some quiet time and ask yourself, if my life was ideal, what will be present in that life? And don't allow your mind to enter and say, no, that's impossible. No, ask like you're asking Santa Claus and really, really write down, what do you want? Or you want to have perfect health, and write it down in the present tense. I have perfect health. I travel the world. I have plenty of money. My work life is fulfilling. I am in a relationship. I'm in service to the world. I enjoy intellectual challenges. I tell you one thing, doing this process with people, I never have 2 people that want the same thing. So if you think that you are competing in life with every other individual, forget about it, because we want different things. The same for work. What is your ideal work? Get some quiet time and allow yourself to ask for something maybe you never allow yourself to ask before. Is it making sense? Because now is the moment to really connect with what gives you that energy. And I wanted to remind you one thing. When you are designing your perfect work life, consider this perfect work life as a donut, the donut model. And I think I wrote donut the British way instead of the American way. I think the American way is D-O-N-U-T, right? So this is the British way. And why is a donut? Because the circle in the middle, the stuff in the middle, shouldn't have work, should be respected and preserved for your life passion, for your life. If you don't preserve that part in the middle, your work life will run over and it will take all the space. And then when you're trying to reclaim your life, it's not there. And, you know, this is funny because this diagram probably made more sense before COVID. Because now with COVID, we are not going to the office. We wanted to have quality time with your wife or with your husband and your children. You got it. You wanted to spend more time in the garden. You got it. So now it's like life or nature is forcing us to prioritize our life values, not just our work. Because before, you know, it could be that you leave your house at 6:30 in the morning and you come back at 8 p.m., then it's time for dinner and that's it. But now there's more time to incorporate life and things that are important to you inside that. So how do you discover your passions? I am going to have another go at this. And just give you a little bit of the method, that then you can do by yourself. That imagine that you have a list, you already made your list of the 10 things that are more important to you in your work, okay? And you wrote it down. Then, in order to prioritize 5 that you are going to focus more on, you are going to ask in the following way. You're going to start from the top and then ask between number 1 and number 2, which one is more important? If you don't know, then ask in a more pointed way. If I could have A and never have 2, or have 2 but never have A, what's more important? And choose one. You're not going to lose anything. The only thing that we are going to do is that we are going to make priorities. We are going to generate priorities. When you have chosen one, compare with the next one. And then the one that comes, the winner, you compare it with the next one and all the way to 10. And that way you come up with passion number 1. And then you repeat the process 5 times to come up with your 5 top passions, okay? I know this is a very quick version. Last time we did it 3 hours, but you can go back to this recording and remind yourself how to do it. I'm going to check a little bit my time, how am I doing? Okay. Now, once we have come up with our 5 passions, the most important things for our work. Let's assume that you are doing this for work, okay? Because I think that here, most people are in transition and what they want to do is to create, and I call it create consciously. I'm not saying find a job, I'm saying create a job, okay? You're going to know why. So you have your 5 elements that are more important for your creating your ideal work. Then you need to choose as much as possible in favor of those 5 elements until it's automatic. So in order to create these new habits, you need to repeat again and again and again and again. And how are you going to choose? You are going to choose based on 3 steps that I'm going to explain to you, okay? You have your list of your 5 passions. The first step is intention. Intention is very, very powerful, and it's even more powerful if you do it in a group. So I'm thinking right now from the top of my head, if in the Q&A, some people want to formulate an intention of what they want to create for their work, we will all as a group hold the intention with them. All right? So it's going to be much more powerful, because intention is that you know what you want, you are clear, you know you are a creator, not a victim, and you are firm that you are going to create that in your life. You're going to be watching for signs of progress as well. And you are going to be paying attention. You're going to be paying attention by taking action. So imagine that you want you want to create a job in an area, specific area, reservoir engineering, for example. But you don't take any action. You don't send any CVs. You don't network with anyone on LinkedIn. In reality, you are not putting attention on what you want. You're putting attention on what you cannot do. So you are telling yourself, oh, what's the point of sending CVs with this crisis if nobody is really going to read them? It's extremely difficult. So where are you putting your attention? On the possibilities, or what you can do, or what you cannot do? Think about it. Now everybody is at home. People before were in the office. In most companies, they were busy with meetings or commuting or going for lunch. Now people have more time. I have been able to have meetings with executives of companies from their living room or from their studios in their homes much easily now than before. So are you thinking of what you cannot do, or are you thinking on the opportunities? Are you taking action? Because action is going to engage that attention. Reach out to people in your networks. That is paying attention to what you have decided that you want to create. And the final step is the most difficult. That is no tension. This is extremely difficult. It's what we were talking at the beginning, that when you are taking a lot of actions, it comes up to a point in which you need to relax and trust. You know, there is this expression, let go and let God. You may be a spiritual person, or you may not be a spiritual person. Instead of God, you trust the universe, or you trust life with capital letters. But one thing is clear: we are not the general manager of the universe. Do you agree with me on that? And we have been reminded even more that the way I put it is that we live by the grace of God. And we live by the grace of God before, but even more now. So there are higher forces at play. After and only after you have taken all your actions, then relax a little bit. Don't push that hose that is bringing you the flow of what you want too strongly. Otherwise, you are kind of constraining the flow. Okay, and don't judge what's coming to you, because has it ever happened to you that you take a lot of action in this area and your results and your opportunity come over here? Has it ever happened to anybody? Your results are coming from when you least expected. It's like, but I didn't send any CVs over here, or I only sent one CV over here and 100 over here. What's going on? So don't judge from where things come or the shape they come, because sometimes life gives you what you need, not what you want. And once you have your 5 work passions, when you encounter a choice, a decision, or an opportunity, choose in favor of your passions. And a lot of people tell me, yeah, but Marinma, you know, if I don't have a job and they offer me just one job, I had to take it. Yes, I understand. But when you know yourself and you know what gives you energy, there are always some variables. There is something that you can find that maybe is a different position within the same company, or maybe it's some conditions that you're going to negotiate that are going to make your life easier, and you're going to be more aligned with your element. Okay, now I'm going to switch gears and go into purpose. But yeah, I wanted to have just a little bit of feedback, because I like to connect. I like to connect with people, and I find that I need to connect before I go on and kind of feel the audience a little bit. So I would like to ask for a couple of shares that someone wants to share, just 2 or 3 minutes, anything that caught your attention or resonated with you and you think that you can use? Who wants to share? Just, yeah, Helen, please unmute yourself.
Yeah, so I really liked what you were just saying about the tension. I have found, so I found my job 5 years ago and it was not where I was expecting it to be, but I sort of discovered in the 5 years that I wasn't really passionate, which has led me in the past 2 months to be reflecting on possibly leaving oil and gas. But I've also found that I'm really trusting that this is right where I'm supposed to be. And I don't feel anxious or I don't feel like I'm stressing about the find a job for the sake of finding a job. So I don't have that tension, and it's actually, I think, giving, at least for me, is giving me more space to figure out what it is that's going to get me really excited, rather than, oh, I'm applying to all these jobs that have the title of geologist, which is what I'm educated in.
That is great.
And it's great to like hear this, and it's like, oh, okay, I am doing the right thing, because I have a lot of colleagues that are laid off and they're like stressing out about how to find a job. And I'm just like, well, it's kind of silly to apply when you don't want it. So
yeah, let me give you some feedback on this. Thank you so much. Yes, don't worry about the kid. But I wanted to say, so she hears me as well. This is what I said before about personal life. Didn't you want more balance with your personal life? Now you got it. Your personal life is integrated in your work life, whether you want it or not. So, Ellen, I just wanted to give you, I wanted to thank you for sharing. Thank you for sharing, because it reminded me a sentence that I normally use, that is create from a center of calm. Whatever you want to create, don't create it from the center of, oh, I need, but create it from a center of calm. And a famous guru, the Maharishi, said that anchor in consciousness, perform action. It means that enter first in a consciousness of calm, or what you want to create, and then take action. Don't take action from your stress. Don't even send an email from stress. Don't even send a CV from stress, from need. Don't send it from need. Send it from confidence. You know, if this company has me, I am going to give them so much. Yeah. I am going to provide so much value to them, that you know, because I had experience, I have passion, I have care. Mm-hmm. So from that center of confidence, then send a CV.
Yes, I haven't actually applied to any jobs, because I'm like, none of them, I haven't found the one that I'm really jazzed about. So I feel like it would be a futile use of my time and energy.
Yeah. So thank you for that sharing. Thank you so much. And anybody else want to share something that had caught your attention or you resonated with?
Mandu.
Yes, Mandu?
Thank you for this presentation. It is really great. One thing that I draw my attention, and in my personal life, it comes really true, and I didn't recognize it until you said it, that passion is building over your lifetime. It's not an event that happens in your last year or so, or comes suddenly. I recognize right now that my passion for mentoring and educating people and transferring my knowledge comes from my elementary school. My reading teacher, Mr. Radwan, and my third grade teacher, Abul Saad, and for my university professor and my undergraduate. So again, I think that you can recognize your first passion, and it can be many passions, but again, the first one comes from maybe your early days, even with your mom, and she's teaching you how to behave to today. And that you need to cash on that. You need to count on that and pursue that to be one of your driving forces. Don't ignore it and say, oh yeah, no, just it's in my DNA, or it just came in, or that's something from nature. No, it is something that's within you that sets you apart from everybody else.
That's so lovely, the way you express it. Thank you so much for sharing. That was really a personal share. And I really appreciate that. And I love it that I've been able to make a difference by sharing my story and sharing that picture of me at 5 years old. It means a lot. Thank you so much, Mandu. And please, by any means, follow that passion of mentoring, because it's going to give you a lot of energy. It's going to make you very happy, and it's going to contribute to the world a lot. So thank you for those shares. We will have more time in the Q&A. I wanted to continue just a little bit more talking about purpose. So I'm going to shift gears a little bit about talking about purpose. And that is going to, I think that this is going to surprise you. I think this is going to surprise you, because it has surprised me. And this is coming totally from this COVID-19 situation. So I thought that, you know, my thing was the passion. Energize yourself, get your energy, connect with, you know, things that were already in your life since you were little, live in your element. And then this concept of purpose as contributing to something higher than yourself. I start getting into my life from different mentors, different things that I was seeing on LinkedIn, and it was in my mind for many years, also since I went to the Tony Robbins events in 2010. So this is 10 years ago. And then I watched the TED Talk by Tony Robbins about contribution. But now it was getting personal, because I realized I have a purpose that has nothing to do with my passions, that I have connected with a purpose to accelerate the energy transition. And it has given me tremendous, tremendous energy. Tremendous energy. And I realized that my passions are like the archetypes that come already with my soul. They were already since I was born, like an imprint. But and when I live in my passion, it's a little bit about me, even when I'm contributing to others, because it gives me energy. So you think that I'm doing this presentation today for you? Well, actually, I'm doing it for me, because this gives me a lot of energy. But my purpose is like a cause. My purpose is completely about somebody else. It's about mankind, and it's about having a cause that is bigger than me. Obviously, the energy transition is so much bigger than me. So I will say to you, find a cause in your life, and you can choose. You can choose between 17 Sustainable Development Goals, and it's got 169 targets. So you can choose, you can really choose here one cause that is completely dear to your heart. Okay, I wanted to see a show of hands. Is everybody aware of the Sustainable Development Goals? You were not aware of the Sustainable Development Goals. All right, so you can go and check, you can do a Google, Sustainable Development Goals. This is 17 goals that the 191 members from United Nations have agreed to achieve by 2030. Okay, and many companies are aligning their strategies with the Sustainable Development Goals. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to read out loud the 17 Sustainable Development Goals. Everybody has a piece of paper?
Yes.
Find a piece of paper, okay? And when I say a goal that you feel connected with, just write down the number. It may be more than one goal, doesn't matter. Okay? So I am going to stop sharing for a moment. So I see your faces because I have them in front of me. So, piece of paper. 1, no poverty.
No.
No poverty. So if you feel connected with a goal, write down number 1, okay? Number 2, 0 hunger, okay? Number 3, good health and well-being, okay? Number 4, quality education. Number 5, gender equality. Number 6, clean water and sanitation. Number 7, affordable and clean energy. Number 8, decent work and economic growth. Number 9, industry, innovation and infrastructure. Number 10, reduce inequalities. Number 11, sustainable cities and communities. Number 12, responsible consumption and production. Number 13, climate action. Number 14, life below water. Number 15, life on land. Number 16, peace and justice, strong institutions. And last one, number 17, partnerships for the goals. And my question to you, have you found at least one cause that kind of you find that is dear to your heart? One cause.
Yes.
Okay, so you can share later on in the chat if you want. The numbers are more, for you. But this is mostly for you, because what do I want to do with this? Where do I want to go with this? Where I want to go with this, and I'm going to see where I want to go with this is that if you find a purpose that is going to be connected with the type of work that you want to do, okay? And this is another concept called ikigai. Have anybody heard of the ikigai? All right, so this is a Japanese concept. It will help you to find work that really covers the most important aspects for you to be fulfilled and to be successful. That these 4 components is that you love your work, and we cover that with the passion aspect, but it goes farther than that. So are you good at your job? And is the job that you have in mind is something that the world needs? Because Ellen was saying before, yes, I study geology, but now I don't feel that there is enough need for geologists. And can you be paid for that, right? And I like this graphic specifically because it gives you an explanation of what happened if one of these components is missing. So if you're good at what you do and the world needs it and you can pay for it, but you don't love it, you are going to feel, you're going to feel empty. You're going to feel empty. You're going to be comfortable, but empty. But if you love it, if you're good at it, and the world needs it, but they cannot pay you for it, you're going to be delighted and full, but no wealth. And if you're good at it and you love it and you can be paid for it, but the world doesn't need it, you're going to feel useless. And if you love it, the world needs it, and you can be paid for it, but you are not good at it, you're going to feel a sense of uncertainty. Because if you're not good at it, you may think at any moment they can fire me because I'm not good. Yeah. So you need to have really these 4 components. And one way to continuously get better at this ikigai thing is to have this diagram and to ask yourself these questions and have a way to improve yourself every day a little bit. So do I love what I do? If the answer is no, you can put more love in what you do. So I'm going to stop sharing again because I want to be in front of you. So if you ask yourself, do I love what I'm doing? If you don't, yeah, you have two choices. You can change careers, or you could put more love in whatever you are. You can always love it a little bit more. For the moment, maybe it's not your ideal job, but you can, love is not only a feeling, it's also a verb. So you can also love it a little bit more. Am I good at what I'm doing? Well, maybe not. Maybe I'm not good enough. Can I improve my craft? Can I take more courses? Or maybe I've had to recognize that I'm really not good at this. So I'm really not that good as I thought that I was. So it is hard to recognize that. But if what else? You know, I recognize, for example, I was for many years in a sales career, I have many components of a salesperson and business development person, but I am much better as a coaching, as facilitator, than I am as a business developer. So you need to recognize where is your excellence. Now, does the world need what you have in mind? Well, maybe you don't know. Maybe you need to do a little bit more research, do a little bit of a market research. Today with the internet, you can find so much. So if you have an idea in mind, do your research to see whether the world needs it. Maybe the world doesn't know that it needs it. Maybe you need to educate. And today with LinkedIn, for example, we are all broadcasters. You can create videos to educate the world on what you want to do. For example, right now, I'm actually coming up with a new package to educate companies that want to do sustainability leadership in their mindset. That doesn't exist, doesn't matter. I'm going to explain to the market and I'm going to educate the market. So if the world doesn't know that it needs you, maybe you can educate the world, right? And finally, can you be paid for it? Well, maybe you have not defined and you have not made it easy for a potential employer or a potential client, if you're going to go as a contractor, maybe you haven't made it easy for them to pay you. So you need to have, also you have thought, how are you going to charge? Do you have your invoices? Do you have your day rate? Do you have everything that is necessary to make it easier for the money to come to you? Because sometimes we can make it so difficult for somebody to pay us that it's just not going to happen. So these are the questions that I like you to think of. And I'm almost finished. I know I have just one more minute. That also like passion, the purpose is also a mindset. So when I found that my purpose was the energy transition, it complemented my passion for coaching and for workshops. So it's something that you can have, and once you have your purpose, you are all the time thinking, how am I going to contribute to the world? And it gives you tremendous energy because it's not for you, it's for others. It's what Mandu was saying, that I love mentoring. And you could see the energy that he derived from him. It's not something for him, it's something for others. But it gives us tremendous energies when we are contributing to others. And when you have activated the passion, when you are activating the purpose, and people are going to say about you, my God, this person, he is always so enthusiastic. She's always so working so tirelessly. And she's always coming up with initiatives and projects and inspiring others. That is who you become when you activate those mindsets of passion and purpose. And as we are now paying attention to mindset of passion and purpose, do you notice that our COVID worries seem to be a little bit farther away? Because we are putting attention in what we can do, not in what we cannot do. And finally, if you want some personal support from me, reach out LinkedIn, reach out on email. You're going to have this presentation. I can even offer you some individual attention and help you to discover your passions or your purpose. And this is pretty much the end of the presentation. And I am now open for 30 minutes of questions. And I don't know if Tarek, Carlos, you are going to facilitate that? Or how do we do it? Or do I ask for questions directly?
No, Tarek is going to go over the Q&As, if there is any. Then he's going to present them to you and you answer them.
And I just want to say again, thank you. Thank you for the opportunity to do this. I really thank you for allowing me.
Before we do that, you know, while everybody has a smile on their face from what they heard, we can take a picture with all of you. Maybe if everybody turns on their video, if you don't mind, we're going to take a picture. And while you're doing that, and Tarek is looking at the questions, Marinma, can you share your slide that you would like in the picture? I'm going to take a picture of everybody, and I have a second screen with the slide.
Okay, yeah. I also took myself a picture of all the happy faces. And let me see. And I took a really good picture of you, Marinma. Well, I shared it with you, you'll see. But we'll just take a second and we'll take that picture. Whether you comb your hair or not, you're okay. Thank you.
Is that the one you like?
This is a good one.
Here we go. I want to take one picture. Right. Well, thank you very much. Yeah, Tarek, more than welcome to read the question.
Thanks so much. Thanks so much.
Up to now in the chat window, we don't have any questions per se. There were some exchanges that were not related to the presentation there. But yeah, so if anybody has anything, I'd say you don't need to worry about typing it into the chat. Just go for it. You know, unmute your microphone and ask away.
Yeah, and I'd like to know if somebody felt like, "Whoa, these are some interesting causes from the Sustainable Development Goal." If someone felt like, "Whoa, I can get behind that."
I have a question.
Yeah, sure.
Go ahead, Chris.
So, what is your opinion of the Myers-Briggs aptitude test?
Oh, what?
It's called the Myers-Briggs aptitude test, I think they call it. It's for determining what areas your strengths lie.
Yeah, I did that when I did my MBA. Name dropping that I have an MBA, and that was a long time ago. Yeah, it's very good for, I mean, any test that helps you to know yourself better and know your strengths is going to help you in life. You know, it's just going to, so if you have access to that, by any means, look at it, because you are going to know, for example, if you are more of an extrovert or an introvert, if you're more of a thinking or you are more of a sensing person. So you're going to know how you interpret the world and where, in which environments you feel more comfortable. I mean, I'm passionate about psychology. For example, extroverts, we think as we speak, right? So it's not like I can just go away, think, and then I speak. No, I think many cases as I'm communicating. Well, an extrovert is going to go away, think, and when he comes back, has all the ideas clear. So if you know that, if you know about yourself, how you are and how the people around you are, it's going to help you in your relationships, even your work relationships. For example, one of my bosses was an introvert. And I am totally an extrovert. And luckily I knew about that. So when he went into his long silences, it's like, all right, he's an introvert. I wait until he comes out of the cave. So it's good to know these things.
Yeah, if you have 6 personalities, if you know what your personality is and what is the personality of the other person, then you are better off to react with him the way it fits the best.
6 personalities,
really,
in a team,
Myers-Briggs, yeah, that's what it is. Well, it's a wonderful tool. Yeah, actually, Tarek, I presented in a chat on Sustainable Development Goals of United Nations. Marinma was asking. So put down your ones. I did put out my ones there.
Yes.
Do you want to share what gives you energy? All of those. Yes.
Well,
all of those.
Quite a few, in there.
Yeah, I'm looking for. What I'm looking for is something that it really gets to you so much that it actually even influences your career choice. It influences how you see the world, because that's how you are going to contribute to the world. So you're going to align all your work activities around that. Let's see, for example, the oil industry. The oil industry now is moving towards the energy transition.
Yep.
So you could be in the oil industry, you could be working for an oil major or for an independent, and be in the departments that, if that was going to be your passion, in the departments that are working towards the energy transition, for example. That happened to be my passion. No, it's not everybody's passion. Or you are, for example, more aligned with clean water, right? So you have, somehow you involve in projects that have to do with clean water. So I will say, look at all those, Selim,
mm-hmm.
and see if there is one that really gets to you, and why. Maybe there is an experience in your family or an experience in your community, something that gets to you, because that's going to give you tremendous energy. Because what do you guys like the most? To give a gift or to receive a gift?
Give a gift.
Give a gift, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because all the energy when you buy the gift, thinking on the person, wrapping it, seeing their faces. That's why contribution is about giving to others. It's going to give us tremendous energy.
That's right.
Tremendous.
Good morning, Marinma. Hi, this is Francisco.
Hi, Francisco.
Got 2 questions. Those 17 items that you show, as you were mentioning those 17 items, that's when I came in. See, I'm one of the poor guys that still have to work today. So those 17 items came from where? I didn't catch that.
Yeah, this comes from the United Nations.
Okay.
It has been signed by 191 countries that form the United Nations.
All right. My next question, where are you teaching from?
From Delft in the Netherlands.
Awesome. That's where my questions. Thank you.
Yes, yeah, but you can do some research on these sustainable development goals. What I was saying is that you can choose a course that from those is a good place to start, because it's got 17 goals and 169 targets. So it's a good place to find a purpose. A suggestion. You can find it from somewhere else, but this is a suggestion. So what else am I going to ask you guys? What do you think about moving from worry and from stress into a well-being mode? Do you recognize in yourself what happened to your body when you are stressed and worried? Anybody wants to comment on that?
Yeah,
Yes.
I'll say it's hard to sleep. Because the little voice, you can be conscious all day long and channel your energies, but as soon as I put my head on the pillow, then the little voice is stuck. What are you going to do about getting paid? And yeah, so good. Appreciate any help with that.
Yeah, I have it too. So I'm not going to tell you something that I don't use. The only thing that, I mean, for me, what helps me is to do meditation. That is, by the way, it's nothing religious. So it has nothing to do with religion. It's as spiritual as you want to do it. So it's basically, I'm saying this because some people start freaking out. Yeah, she's talking about religion. No, this is a method of calming the mind. You find a quiet space and focus on your breathing. And when those thoughts of worry come flying past, shing, shing, shing. Instead of getting into the thought, you observe the thought. Oh, interesting. So the thought comes like, you're not going to be able to pay the mortgage. Shing! And then you look at the thought and you observe it like if it was a movie. Why can't you observe the thought? Can anybody tell me? Why is it possible for us to observe our thoughts? This is for high degree.
Okay.
Well, don't you just not have control? Like your thoughts are just going to come and go.
That's not the answer I was looking for. Mandu?
Fear. Would that
Why?
be fear?
Huh?
Fear of accountability?
My question is, why are you able to observe the thoughts?
Why are we able to observe the thought?
Well, we're conscious beings.
Sorry, Eno?
Because we entertain the thought. That's why.
That's not exactly what I was looking for. Chris?
Pay attention to the thoughts.
Because now it's not what I'm looking for.
Well, we're human beings. It's what distinguishes us from the animals. We have this frontal cortex that enables us to abstract thinking like that.
Because the thought is part of us.
Jorge?
Yes. What I do, okay, I look at the stars. I look of something above and beyond and put myself in the position within relationship of the meaning of all.
Yeah.
Okay, you're getting closer. That means
so that brings me
yeah.
So that brings me humility. That brings me a point of space and time that I'm not relevant. So therefore, whatever happens is not under my control. Or whatever I did everything to be within my area of control.
Okay. Yeah. So I go with you in a minute, Patricia. So you are getting yourself out of the way. You are getting yourself, your individual I is getting out of the way. So we are getting closer, Patricia. This is great, Jorge. Thank you so much. Thank you. Patricia, why are we able to observe our thoughts?
Marina, I think I agree with, who was the before? George?
Jorge?
With Jorge in certain way. I think you are able to observe your thought when you are, maybe when you are by yourself, when you get introspected and then you listen to you are in a quiet place and you are able to be with yourself. You see an introspection of yourself and then the thought come out very pure to you, I think.
I think that everything that you're saying adds to the conversation. Mandu, you wanted to say something?
Yes, something you said earlier yourself, that stress itself is a three-dimensional problem that has causes, processes, effects that you can, or things that you can affect and things that you cannot affect. And when you start thinking about the problems, you are in the middle of these three-dimensional factors around you. And what I understand from what you said is you need to extract yourself out of this three-dimension and think about what you can do and what you can affect and leave the rest. and you said it as just like leave the rest to God, okay,
Let go and let go.
or something beyond your control. So
okay,
it will be
very
solving.
good. I like the 3 dimensions, and I think that everything that you said, it adds to the picture. What I was looking for, each of you gave me a piece of the final picture. What I was going to say is that the reason that we can observe the thoughts is that we are much more than the thoughts. We are the being, we are the essence, and the thoughts are just a dimension of what we are. That's when you talk about 3 dimensions,
Yes.
you can say that we are 4 dimensions. And that it's like when you go into a movie, why can't you observe the movie? Because you are not the movie. Hello, is that your grandson? So cute. So cute. So that's why you can observe your thoughts, because you are not the thought. But what do we do in our daily life? We enter in the movie. Have you ever gone to see a movie and it's so interesting that you were really inside the movie? And at some point of the movie, it's like, oh, I'm not the movie. I am in a movie theater, right? So this is a way to relax, to do that meditation in which when the thought passes, zoom, 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 you observe the thought like it was a movie. When you do that 10, 15 minutes a day, or as much time as you want, your mind gets quieter and quieter. And it's like preventative medicine. When you go to sleep, you are already quieter. You know, so the meditation is a way to relax and calm your mind. And this is going to be very useful in the situation in which you are right now in the United States. And I have 2 pieces of advice. Reduce the amount that you watch news to the minimum necessary. Even if you feel selfish, I know people are dying, people are getting sick, you are going to feel extremely selfish, but it's not selfish to be okay. To have well-being is not selfish, right? Do you agree with me?
I do, yes.
When can you contribute better to your loved ones into society? When you are stressed, or when you have well-being? Yeah. So I don't expect an answer because it's obvious. So you need that well-being to be able to contribute to society, to your families, to be able to find the next job, to be able to do the next career transition. You need to move into that states of calm, passion, find a purpose. Go to LinkedIn. I say LinkedIn because I use LinkedIn a lot. It's a fantastic place for networking. And if you have a cause, find other people that are doing those things. Anybody else want to contribute? Joanna, tell me something. Anything that has resonated with you?
You know, I'm really excited about this because my presentation on personal branding, you're basically discussing the foundation for it. You know, it's all about finding your purpose, finding your passion, getting to know yourselves a little bit better. And this is challenging. You know, I used to teach a class at Purdue University, and the whole class was about getting to know yourself. So the final project was to write a 10 pages paper about yourself. And the students were like, where am I gonna get all that information? So I asked them to do assessments, MBTI and all the assessments, so they can start collecting some data about themselves. And then I asked them to interview their friends, their family members, their coworkers, whoever, you know, people around them, and to start collecting that data so they can get to know more about themselves. So that's the invitation, you know, for all of you guys, because that's going to be the foundation, not only for your purpose and passion, but also for your personal brand. So I'm really excited to be able to connect those 2 topics.
That's wonderful. Thank you so much, Joanna. Thank you so much. Yes.
Marinma, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Oh, start with Francisco.
Francisco,
yes.
The last comment from Francisco, and
okay.
we have to really move on.
Actually, 2 comments. Marinma, I cried in movies. I never cry. And my wife looks at me and then she sees tears. So what's wrong with you? I have no idea, but you know, I get into it and I cry. So anyway, The other thing that has helped me is listening to good news, because most of the time what we hear outside is bad news. We picked up the newspaper, for those of us that still read the newspaper, and it's bad news. You go to the TV, bad news. It's you get heated. But I found that some of the things that helped me is to hear some good news, such as I read this Bible verse that says, so do not fear, for I am with you. Do not be dismayed, for I am your God. I will strengthen you and help you. I will uphold you with my righteous right hand. Wow. And when I start meditating in those words, peace, calm, quiet, come in. So I found that good news is good.
Very well said. I do the same. You had to. So thank you so much for that. Thank you so much for that, Francisco. And thank you for this opportunity to live my passion. And I hope to be connected with you on LinkedIn. Send me a message or email me or whatever, and we can continue talking. I'm going to stay a little bit longer for Joanna's presentation, and then I had to go for our dinner, which is at Dutch time, a little bit early here, and I see the rest in the recording. But for the moment,
thank you very much, Marinma.
Thank you, Marinma.
Really good presentation, and I remember a lot of what she said, a lot of what y'all have said actually really resonates with helping others. It's given to Marinma asked a question of which one that you rather to get or to give. She asked it in a different way, but it really fills your heart when you give. When you give it from yourself, if we also put ourselves as to what is it that if somebody else needs and how we can meet that need, really it takes away from our worries. But with that, Tarek, I'm going to stop recording on this one.